And remember, friends, the party never ends at Willy's Wonderland.
This podcast is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed. Spoiler warning for whatever is in the title of this episode.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share and subscribe. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/thehorrorofbabylon. In closing, you can let your friends know that The Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible and all other major podcast apps.
Welcome to a very wonderful episode of The Horror of Babylon, where we discuss Willy's Wonderland. I'm Ryan. With me, as always, is Daniel. Say hi, Daniel.
It's your birthday.
And speaking of absurdity, thank you to our patrons.
Yeah, why do you pay us?
Including Abigail the First, Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons, and
Logan,
the Full Metal Patron, and Ben the Fourth, Patron of Hope, and Mia the Fifth, the Rainmaker.
She makes it rain, yo.
Oh, she makes it rain, and Sierra the Sixth, the Keyblade Patron. And thank you to Horsemen Comics and Gaming, which you can visit. I forget the name of the town in this movie, but you can visit their new location in the town that this movie takes place in.
I was going to say the name of the town from the Silver Eyes book, but I can't remember it either. Yeah. No, it's Hurricane.
Hurricane, yeah, that's right.
Visit Hurricane.
Ants, it's like Ants, hold on real quick, it's going to drive me...
My initial plan for this review was just to make a bunch of Five Nights at Freddy's references, but I think it does it itself all right.
Yeah, it makes fun of itself well enough. Hayesville, Nevada.
There's a state I'll never move to.
Yeah, it's probably in... Well, yeah, I will probably never live in Nevada. I probably live in Nevada before I live in Utah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think Alaska's the top of my list.
Alaska's in my top 3, for sure. And thank you to Horsemen Comics Gaming, yeah. Which you can visit in the Morgantown Mall in Morgantown, West Virginia, the mall at Robinson in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You can shop online at fourhorsemen.tcgplayerpro.com, and if you make it in the store, say hello to the secretary of the Nicolas Cage fan club, Ronald III, Grampus of Christmas.
I'm the CEO.
You're the CEO of the fan club?
Yeah. We just sell things with his face on it.
Oh, okay. I'm the CCO, the Chief Cage Officer.
That's better.
So, trigger warning, what I wrote down was animatronics, stupid teenagers, and mute people. Our history with Willy's Wonderland. Daniel has been talking about this for a long time, and we finally watched it. Your turn.
I became aware of this movie as a Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff, is how people would talk about it. And it was during that stage where people were still not convinced the Five Nights at Freddy's movie was actually going to happen.
Like Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I'm still not. Until I am watching the end credits roll, that movie does not exist.
You'll still deny it.
Yeah. So I went and I watched it because they were like, well, Nick Cage is in it. He's the security guard.
He's the janitor.
Yeah, he's the janitor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
He's the main role. So I sat there and I watched it. And I was like, man, yeah, I can't remember where I first heard this, but apparently it's like 100% denied that this was... Someone had mentioned somewhere that this was originally a Five Nights at Freddy's script, but the creator and the director of the movie denies that. They said it's completely unrelated.
They also deny any similarities to Five Nights at, which is complete horseshit.
But when I first watched the movie, and we'll get more into this when we get into characters, because your character doesn't talk in Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
So when I was sitting there watching the movie, I was like, well, that's sort of a creative way to
do that, yeah.
to handle that.
The vampire's a pure myth. superstition. I may be able to bring you proof that the superstition of yesterday can become the scientific reality of today.
So let's jump into background. Willy's Wonderland was originally set for a worldwide theatrical release on October 30th, 2020, but it was postponed because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and instead it was released to video on demand in a very limited theatrical release in the United States in February of 2021. It had a budget of $5 million, and box office-wise, it took in a little less than $500,000.
COVID hit that one kind of hard.
Yeah, but it did that to a lot of movies.
Yeah.
So
it's unfortunate, but
I don't think this would have been. I don't think this would have been like $1 billion movie, but I think there's definitely potential for it to, with like the FNAF audience going, for it to make money.
yeah, because they're always starved for content.
Yeah. There's never a new FNAF game
Yeah.
coming out or anything like that.
Yeah, because as soon as it's out, they're like, well, when's the next? They're like Dragon Ball Z fans.
Yeah. So this film was directed by Kevin Lewis, and I have a whole list of movies that he's directed, but I've heard of none of them. The Method, Andrew Jackson, White Elk, Downward Angel, The Third Society, Malibu Spring Break, Dark Heart, The Drop, The Third Nail, The Accursed.
Yeah, I know. I haven't heard of any of these. He's directed a lot, though.
Yep. It was written by G.O. Parsons. This is the only screenplay that G.O. Parsons is credited with writing. Director Kevin Lewis describes this movie as Pale Rider versus Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I've never seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space, but I definitely get the Pale Rider-ness of it and agree.
I don't think I've seen Pale Rider. I can feel the Killer Clowns from Outer Space vibes just from the kind of absurdity.
It's a Clint Eastwood Western where he's a drifter and he drifts into town.
He's
and
Nick Cage.
Yeah, he cleans up the town and then leaves.
Okay.
The film has a small cult following, with many comparing it to the Five Nights at Freddy's video game series. Parsons and Lewis both deny any similarities, which is
absurd.
It also has a 4-issue comic prequel that was released from American Mythology Productions.
I just know the art isn't going to be nearly as good inside, but that cover is kind of fire.
Actually, it is. I read the first issue.
Oh, yeah?
And it all looks like this.
Oh, okay.
I would actually say, if it's not technically extreme horror, it's right on the line.
It's like bordering it.
Yeah, like it's excessively violent. Like if you're watching the YouTube version, I'll have the cover here. But if you are listening to audio version, just Google Willy's Wonderland comic. It's super violent.
Okay, maybe I'll check that out then. I usually don't mind extreme gore as long as they aren't doing weird sex shit with it.
There's nothing like too bad.
Okay.
And it was a fast read. Maybe we'll do an episode on it at some point. I'll
down the road, like
yeah.
when we need to get some filler stuff in.
But it wasn't terrible. Like it was what it was.
The art just looks better than most comic tie-ins I'm used to.
It had pretty decent art. It may not quite this detailed, but it was close to this level of quality throughout the whole book.
Pretty good.
And that's that. Another story in the classic, infallible 3-act structure. Good enough for Aristotle, good enough for The Simpsons.
Mr. Sislak, I have a feeling there's going to be one more act to this story.
Well, I'm not hanging around for that. 4 acts.
Structure and themes, I thought we could probably spend the majority of this section just comparing and contrasting it to Five Nights at Freddy's and giving some like general thoughts. Of course, I'm gonna let you kick us off because this is your realm.
Alrighty, so I kind of already brought up like the silent protagonist, which is before the FNAF movie came out and the novels came out. People were always talking about like, well, how do you even do that? Like
Yeah.
you literally just sit in a room and look back and forth. So when I first saw this movie, I was like, oh, that's how you do the silent protagonist. You literally just don't have him say anything and you have other characters talk.
I kind of wish, I don't, but I wish I could see an alternate reality where the FNAF movie rips off Willy's Wonderland and has a silent
It
protagonist.
does that.
And then you get that subsection of FNAF fans. They're like, Willy's Wonderland did it first. And then you have the subsection of them that says, Willy's Wonderland did it better. Like Battle Royale and Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have haunted animatronics.
Yep.
In this version, they're all serial killers, and FNAF, only one of them is a serial killer.
The origin of how the animatronics became haunted is almost exactly the same, except for instead of dead kids, it's dead serial killers.
Yeah, it's and they do like weird satanic shit instead of it just kind of happening.
Yeah. I thought that fit like the tone of the movie.
Yeah, 100%. In terms of like differences, this one is way like the FNAF movie felt super clean. The games kind of feel a lot more like this movie does, where they're kind of grimy and run down.
Yeah.
Like, those things don't look like they've been used for years. Like, they're rusty, gathering dust and mold. And in the first few games, or the first game, that's what it's supposed to feel like, because the place is just shutting down. It's an old, like a relic of what it used to be. They really kind of lean into, like, slasher elements for this movie.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, because I actually have been keeping a playlist of all of our slasher content, because I know that's popular. So I wasn't sure if, like, should I put this on our slasher playlist?
This is a slasher.
Yeah.
It's got a few divergences, like, there's a bunch of killers. But at the same time, I'm like, it's close enough.
Yeah.
It follows the same tropes.
With the teenagers and, oh, we're going to go off in this room and have sex, and it leads to us getting killed.
Oh, I cannot wait to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in Kiss Me Fat Boy, I guess.
Yeah.
Difference is something, I feel like, I don't know about the games, but comparing it more to the books and the movie for Five Nights at Freddy's, none of them have like this. Every character within that story is taking everything that's happening seriously.
Yeah.
But in Willy's Wonderland, there's a disconnect between the janitor and the rest of the characters.
Yeah.
There's just an absurdity about Nicolas Cage's character himself that even the other characters cannot comprehend it. They accept the haunted animatronics.
But how's he killing them?
But they can't accept him. Yeah. Like, he's too absurd.
Hiya! Happy Easter!
I know I compared him to, like, how you do the silent protagonist. But he's also, like, a video game character from a different video game.
Yeah.
Like, you dropped a protagonist that could actually do something in a FNAF game.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Okay, characters. Nicolas Cage as the janitor. The absurd thing about him to me isn't the fact that he can fight and kill these animatronics. It's that even once he learns that it's all a trap and it's all bullshit, he continues to clean. And after every encounter, he goes back and changes into a clean shirt. Like, when he put on the first shirt, I literally said out loud, I can't believe he put on the shirt.
It's because he's a man of his word.
No, I think he has to follow orders.
Yeah.
Because he does everything the text, everything he tells him, he does, to the point that he puts a young girl in danger, because the dude said, make sure you take your breaks.
He gives a little reminder.
And I'm like...
And he goes and does it.
Do you have no willpower? He's like, oh, and those sodas are on the house, so I'm gonna drink all this. I'm gonna drink like 7 sodas.
Yeah.
Also, this dude loves pinball.
Oh, you see, Ryan, the subtle nuances are conveyed through his lack of speaking.
so much to the. I was going over the lyrics of the Who's Pinball Wizard in my head, because in the Pinball Wizard is mute.
Yeah.
But he's also deaf and blind. So I was actually thinking, could this character be deaf and reading lips, and could he be blind and just have like a good sense about him? Is this guy the Pinball Wizard?
I mean, it could be non-literally, like he's just blind to the situation because he's just rolling with it.
Yeah, that's possible. Okay, he's the Pinball Wizard.
Yeah. I didn't listen to the lyrics, but that's not a bad point.
Yeah.
What did you think of a movie where Nick Cage doesn't talk?
I was actually kind of irritated at first.
Yeah.
Because you told me that he doesn't talk, and I had forgotten that until like 20 or 30 minutes into it. And I was eventually like, I got on board.
Yeah.
And I was fine with it. But like the first 15, 20 minutes, I was just irritated as shit.
That's how I felt the first time watching the movie, because Nick Cage he's a good actor, but he's also known for being over the top and absurd. And this is an over the top and absurd movie.
Yeah.
But at some point, it's like he's circled around to being so absurd that he's just not acknowledging it.
Yeah.
So, I think what like really sells me on that is when he puts the young girl in danger to go take a break.
Yeah, that was... he gave her the knife, at least.
Yeah, he's like, it's not your break, it's mine.
I have to go drink a soda and play pinball.
And like even the way because the animatronics don't have like a lot of range of emotion, but even that they're
like, what's going on? You're leaving? We're having a fight.
I want the Dragon Ball Z version of this.
Yeah.
Where there's an anime character that kicks so much ass, but he has to take his breaks, and he'll just stop saving the world to go drink a soda or something. Played by Nick Cage.
Sure.
Nick Cage is Goku.
So this is our third Nick Cage movie, I think, after Renfield in Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
What will our next Nick Cage movie be, do you think?
We could do the Ghost Riders if we really want to punish ourselves.
If we do another Marvel movie, let's do something better. We could do that werewolf Marvel thing.
Yeah. We could do a back-to-back Wicker Man, because you got the original with Christopher Lee, and then you have the one with Nick Cage, which is pretty bad, but it's kind of funny.
I haven't seen either, but I've always wanted to see the Christopher Lee one.
It's really good. Especially if you can go in spoiler-free.
I have no idea. I don't know anything about it. I just know the poster is super sweet.
Yeah, and Christopher Lee's in it, which sells me on anything.
Yeah, that's good enough. He was also in Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
Emily Tosta as Liv Hawthorne. This girl irritated the shit out of me to the point where I almost think the movie would have just been better if she was not in it or played by someone else.
Yeah.
I hate to be that down on a performance, and part of it is writing, and I don't think it was a bad performance. She just grated on me in every scene she's in. She
was kind of written to be grating, but that doesn't mean it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
I do like that she at least was actively trying to do something. Why don't we just burn the place down?
Yeah, that's obvious. The obvious. Why I don't know why the other townsfolk just didn't do that.
My theory is it's all about leaning into the absurdity. Their absurdist is, we'll just kind of form a cult or a sacrifice around it because it works.
Yeah.
So we better not change the formula. And that's the reason, even though Nick Cage is winning, that's why they get mad. He's changing the formula.
Yeah.
And then you have this girl who's kind of playing it straight, is just burn it down.
Is this what you did to my parents?
Yeah.
And then also in her defense, I didn't like any of the teenage characters.
Yeah, they were written as fodder. It was super clearly written as fodder.
Yeah.
It's like that one scene in Five Nights at Freddy's where they had the people break in just so you could have some kill scenes, because there's not a lot of characters in those games.
What I preferred about how they handled that in the FNAF movie is that you didn't have to spend 20 minutes with those characters before they all got killed.
Yeah. And some people would say, well, we'd prefer to have characters, but at the same time, would you prefer these characters? Yeah, right?
Yes. Getting to know a character before they die is preferable, but not if it's shitty. Then I'd rather just them be a body count.
All of these teenagers are convinced that this is happening and that it's real. Why are you fucking in front of one of them?
Yeah. I mean, you know it's real.
Yeah.
It's once they got in there and that they saw that the janitor had killed one or two, they're like, oh, we're safe, we're fine.
Yeah. And that's what kind of bothers me. But again, I kind of accept it as leading into that sort of it's supposed to be stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just they just irritated me is all. And it was so bad that it was making me miss the group of teenagers from the Silver Eyes trilogy. I was like, I want to put those kids in this movie, and then I will give a shit.
Well, because a couple of those characters were actually characters. There's just too many of them.
Yeah. No, I agree. And then Beth Grant as Sheriff Louise Lund. Beth Grant has a huge IMDb list. I think she has something like 200 credits. I know her best as Dwight's sex babysitter from The Office.
I was his babysitter.
And now you guys are dating?
Purely carnal, that's all you need to know.
Would you write down your email? Because I have just so many questions.
Email?
I just know that she's been in a lot of stuff.
She has 244 credits.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. She's by far, after Nick Cage, the best performance in this movie.
You've only ever seen the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, haven't you?
And the first remake.
Yeah. She reminds me of the sheriff from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which was purposely made as a comedy. Because the director, same director as the first one, goes, I just don't think I could do that twice. So he just made something different.
That's a good idea.
And so it's super absurd and over the top to the point where the sheriff goes and gets a chainsaw to chase down the cannibal family. At the end of the movie. That's what she reminds me of, a Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 character. Because again, just, it's a crazy sort of movie where people just lean into that.
What I liked about this character is at the beginning, you see the girl trying to burn down the building, and she takes her back and it's like, oh, we're supposed to hate this cop because she's not letting this teenage girl does what she wants. I bet once we learn more, it'll turn out that the sheriff actually is in the right. Oh no, she's a cult leader.
Yeah,
which I liked.
Yeah, no, it was good. I think she did a pretty good job.
No, like I said, I think she's a pretty good
How do you like her death scene?
I thought it was good.
Yeah,
it was just like boom, gone. I was kind of worried about Willy because like it spends all this time like building him up, and then. But Nick Cage is killing all these other ones so easily.
Like it's nothing.
Yeah, so it's like, we really need to see Willy be bad. And then he just rips her in half, and it's like, okay, that was pretty good.
What was your favorite animatronic kill? Like, like when Nick Cage killed one of them? I'm partial to the gorilla one.
Yeah, I was going to say the gorilla.
Just something about curb stomping on a urinal.
Yeah.
Seems like a great way to kill somebody.
Yeah, no, I think that's the one. Before we go to the animatronics... there's a lot of other characters. There's the deputy, the truck driver, there's Tex. Did you have anything on any of those other characters?
They all kind of remind me of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 characters.
Okay.
Or Killer Clowns from Outer Space characters would also be an appropriate comparison.
Are you gonna play that game?
I will probably play it. I want to see how much content it actually has first.
Okay. Is it a $60 game or is it like
that's one of the things I'm waiting to find out.
Okay.
Because I feel like I hate like live service games and games where all there is online modes.
Yeah.
To the point where people are now making live service single player games. Like the next Assassin's Creed, you have to be online all the time to play it.
Like I understand if it's a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
But why for a single player game?
Because they don't want you to actually own the game so that they can just
turn it off
at any time. Like, that's the long and short of it. That's not what they'll say it's for, but...
Okay.
For better quality updates.
Yeah. I mean, we had fun playing Friday the 13th, and now we just can't play it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
Anyway, yeah.
Okay. So, there's Willy Weasel, Tito Turtle, Ozzy Ostrich, Gus Gorilla, Cammy Chameleon, Siren Sarah, Nighty Night, and Artie Alligator. Real brief spoiler for the first issue of the comic. Nighty Night decapitates somebody. It happens while they're trying to keep the restaurant running. And I'm like, why don't you guys give him a plastic sword instead of a real sword?
Yeah, like, why does he have...
Because he does it, and Tex is like, oh, get him in the back. We gotta cover this up. But like, take away his sword.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Which one was your favorite?
I think design-wise, the ostrich and the gorilla, I really like. The chameleon, I like the tongue, but it just doesn't... I don't think it really jibes with the animatronic...
Like the other designs?
Well, it's just like... Okay, so here's the issue I had with the chameleon and the fairy. It's like... With all the rest of them and all the ones in FNAF, they actually act and move like animatronics. Mm-hmm. But no animatronic could move the way that Siren Sarah was moving. Or like, how does an animatronic tongue do the things that chameleon does? I'm like, and it's a stupid movie. It doesn't matter. I'm overthinking it.
But at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm partial to Tito Turtle, just because he's just the only one that speaks Spanish, and I'm sitting there going, did you speak Spanish before you died, or is this because you're in the turtle?
That's a good question.
Like, I want to know how possessing an animatronic works before I put my brain in a cyborg body.
I also thought it was funny that the Artie Alligator, I saw his name, because I looked up all their names as I was watching. I was like, oh, okay, so it's just alliterative. But then I realized that he is wearing a beret. And I'm like, no, it's Artie, like artistic alligator. He's artsy fartsy alligator.
He's also a voyeur.
Yeah. And actually, this kind of crosses into scary shit, but the practical effects I thought were really good, and the CG wasn't terrible. Like, they kind of blended them well, because
they didn't linger on it.
Yeah, when they went from practical to CG, it was very fast.
Yeah.
And they did, like you said, they didn't linger on it. So I can note, obviously that was CG, but it looked better the way that they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's your, you said Tito Turtle.
Yeah. Just something about him starting speaking Spanish and that little mustache. I loved it.
Yeah. No, I like Tito Turtle. He's also the longest surviving of all the animatronics.
Yeah.
I'll kill you all! I'll drive you crazy, and I'll kill you all! I'm every nightmare you ever had. I am your worst dream come true. I'm everything you ever were afraid of.
Cool, so let's go to scary shit. Is this movie scary?
I don't think so.
No, it's not scary.
I think it's funny.
Yeah, it's obviously a comedy. I mean, it's like gory and it's violent, but it's not... It could scare little kids, but other than that, I don't think...
Yeah, it's a gore fest. You're there for a good time.
Yes. And we already talked about the effects. So just like... can you compare and contrast this movie a little bit with FNAF, which is known for like its jump scares?
This one didn't have a lot of jump scares. There were like a couple that made me... Again, when I didn't know that this was supposedly had no connections.
Yeah.
Like when the gorilla jumped out of the toilet and when the ostrich first showed up, I'm like, oh, that's the jump scare that was written into the movie, but they had to change what monster it was.
Yeah.
Because I went in there thinking that this was based off of a unused script. Is allegedly not true at all.
Probably never know.
Kiss me, fat boy!
Kiss me, fat boy.
I mean, and then you also are just fucking in front of the thing that you know is alive.
Yeah.
They all... It's not...
She sees it move.
And it's not like they went there with the girl, either believing her or believing her enough to, like, burn the place down for fun.
Yeah.
And they go in there and there's, like, blood and viscera and the guy's all fucked up. Like, why are you fucking in the ball pit?
Yeah. So we're gonna play Marry, Fuck, Kill, but you can choose any 3 of the animatronics. So and we'll do it together. So which one do you want to marry? And I'm gonna go with Gus Gorilla because I think he would be the best one to cuddle with.
I'm gonna go with Willy because he's a leader and I'm a follower.
Okay. And then the one that you want to fuck?
Siren. She has the most like human-like proportions.
Other than Nighty Night, because Nighty Night is human.
Yeah, most female-esque human proportions.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Cammy Chameleon.
What that tongue do?
The tongue, yeah. we could do things. We could explore, and then kill.
Tito Turtle, because I want to hear him say Spanish shit while I kill him. Dios mío.
I would go with Siren Sarah, so all of my animatronics will actually act like animatronics.
Yeah, instead of do the robot.
Well, my big issue was when like the girl like got into her thing and she was like zipping around like Tinkerbell. That was like, no, like she shouldn't be able to move like that. But Ryan, she shouldn't be able to move.
Well, even, again, in the FNAF movie, when they moved, they felt like big, heavy things.
Yeah, and that's how most of the animatronic movies...
They moved like they were made of metal. Like, and they hit hard like they were made of metal.
Yep.
Oh my god, are you Stephen King? No, I'm Dean Koontz. Oh.
Kings and Koontz. Daniel, what's your king?
My king is Nicolas Cage not talking.
My king is Nicolas Cage and his devotion to breaks.
Yeah. That's part of the not talking for me, is all the stuff he has to do otherwise.
Yeah. And your Koontz?
Is Nicolas Cage not talking, because I want a version of this movie where he does.
Yeah, that could be cool. Maybe in the sequel he'll talk.
Yeah.
And then for me, I guess it's just the kids. Like, they're all just annoying. I guess, like, I still want them in the movie because you need some kills, but...
And some of the kills were fun.
Yeah, although, being my own devil's advocate, we've been talking for over 30 minutes and we haven't mentioned any of those kills at all.
Yeah, I guess that's also true.
Yeah. Okay, it is what it is. All right, rankings. I didn't rank either of these ahead of time just because I've been sick and then trying to get caught up after being sick. I definitely like it more than Army of Darkness and the Happy Death Day sequel. Rank Bond, maybe. I don't think I like it more than the first Happy Death Day. Do I like it more than Beast? Probably. But not as much as the first Happy Death Day. So, okay, I'm going to put it at number 37, above Beast and below Happy Death Day.
Which one was Ewok Hunt? Was that the...
that was the good one.
That was the good one? Right below Ewok...
The better one.
The better one. Right below Ewok Hunt.
Okay, your new number 38, above Goosebumps 2 and below Ewok Hunt.
Because I really like the Call of Cthulhu, but...
Yeah.
And I liked Goosebumps 2, but it was no Goosebumps 1.
Yeah, agreed. And if you're new here, we have a list to our Google Drive with our rankings in the show notes. So just click on that and you can check out how we rank all the stuff that we read and watch. Homework, you get to design your own Willy's Wonderland animatronic. So give me the profile of your fursona.
I'm Sammy Stinkbeetle.
Gross.
And I just smell really, really bad, and I pull you in with my like little robot spiddly bug arms and pull you into my funk.
Okay.
And then I just eat your face with my little beetle parts.
Oh. Okay. I'm Steven Spider.
And I like that we both went with S's.
And I have so there's actually like 2 animatronics that go along with me. I am the husband spider, and then there's a larger female spider animatronic that doesn't talk, but it just eats me every night during the show.
Hot.
And they have to make a new one of me. Yeah. So I actually don't kill anyone. I just get killed every night. I get great. She's a very expensive animatronic that has like a furnace in her stomach, and she just wraps me up and throws me in her furnace, and they have to put out a new one. There's as many me as they are of Charlie robots from the Silver Eyes trilogy. Okay, so for further reading, the obvious things are the FNAF movie and the Banana Splits movie. Apparently also Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Yeah.
I do recommend the comic series, at least based on the first issue. Any other recommendations?
Killer Clowns from Outer Space is... if you enjoyed this for, like, it's absurd and there's some... You're just there for kills.
Mm-hmm.
Only Killer Clowns from Outer Space has, like, more creative kills.
Okay, so upcoming on the Horror of Babylon, this Sunday we are doing our episode on the Cujo film adaptation. Finally, the first Sunday in June, we are reading The Wind Through the Keyhole by Stephen King. Actually, this just taking that 1 month, now I'm feeling like, God, it's been so long since we've been on the Dark Tower.
I think it was good to split them.
Yeah.
I started it last night.
I finished Cujo last night.
Yeah.
I haven't started The Wind Through the Keyhole yet, but I will soon.
Yeah, now that I can't read at work, I listen to it at the gym.
Our next 2 Thursday bonus episodes. On Thursday, May 30th, we are watching Freaky, which we've been saying, because we read, is the slasher movie with Vince Vaughn that was inspired by Cherry Falls.
Ow.
I am questioning that heavily.
I need to do research on that.
I did, and I couldn't find anything. Thursday, June 6th, our first Four Horsemen sponsored bonus episode for June will be An American Werewolf in London. 3 guesses in the first 2 don't count for what our second bonus episode from Four Horsemen is in June.
I'm not gonna.
Okay. Speaking of people who are gonna, thank you to our patrons, including Abigail the First, Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons, and
Logan,
the Full Metal Patron, and Ben, the Fourth Patron of Hope, and Mia the Fifth, the Rainmaker.
She makes it rain, yo.
Oh, she makes it rain. And Sierra the Sixth, the Keyblade Patron. And thank you to Four Horsemen Comics and Gaming, which you can visit at the Morgantown Mall, Morgantown, West Virginia, the Mall at Robinson, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You can shop online at fourhorsemen.tcgplayerpro.com. If you make it into the store, say hello to Ronald III, Grampus of Christmas. He is the guy who is standing by the Star Wars Atari machine with a soda can on the machine, and he looks like he's humping it while he's playing it. That's him.
That's kind of hot.
Yeah, it is super hot.
I'd watch that.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I'd buy that for $1. New Patreons here.
Oh my god. Thank you for watching Willy's Wonderland and recording with me tonight.
You're welcome. It was a great time.
It was fun. Thank you to our patrons. Stay tuned for our socials and stay scary.
Stay scary, everybody.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share, and subscribe. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher, and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/the Horror of Babylon. In closing, you can let your friends know that the Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, and all other major podcast apps. Stay scary.
And remember, friends, the party never ends.